Welcome, welcome, welcome to a very special edition of Beyond the Backstage Pass. I'm your host, Vince Edwards. You may know me from Sound Image Productions. We also have a couple closed roadie Facebook groups, one called Death by Loadout and another one called The Backstage Pass. This show is intended as a companion piece for the Backstage Pass group. Check it out if you're interested. I'm here tonight with my good friend and co-host, Kyle Thomas. How you doing, mister?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself, big dog?
You know, I'm living the dream. I'm surrounded by good people. I got this woman that I love more than anything. I do a job that I couldn't be happier.
I know she came here tonight.
It's the first night we have in the audience our loved ones, and it's really nice. It's great, and I'm feeling the love. And this is, again, like I mentioned, a special edition of the Backstage Pass, where we're going to get up to some interesting stuff. Me and you have been busy the last couple of days. Why don't we tell it from your perspective? What have you been up to the last couple of days?
Oh, here every day.
Yeah.
We got this beautiful set behind us.
Why are we sitting in this? We got the rock and roll lighting, and we've got the drum set behind us.
Our plans finally came to fruition. So we've been talking about it for, I don't know, several shows now of something in the works, and here it is. You know, I think our lighting crew got together. We got Alan all set up, and he got this beautiful lighting rig together.
Shout out to Alan Pettibone. Thank you, Alan. Our lighting.
We got everybody at Sound Image kind of involved with the audio portion.
Mm-hmm.
We got Diablo Digital with Brad Maddox doing the main feed now.
Yeah.
And we have LSV guys, you know, Fuki and John and everybody out here. Really is just like a pleasure to see this whole encompassing thing come to a piece.
It is only in this rare instance of everybody kind of being available, because Fuki would be out with the Stones right now.
Yeah, right.
You know, Brad would be out with Motley Crue right now. Joe Victoria would be probably somewhere with Metallica. It's rare to have this much talent in one room doing the little things that we've been up to.
Oh,
and today we were lucky enough to just tape our first streaming event with one of my favorite bands, and I say that from the bottom of my heart, Lovers and Strangers, and hence the reason we're sitting in front of a drum kit and the set looks a little different. This is our normal set. This is a multi-use platform here for streaming sound studio, and
our sound set is complete at this point.
Yeah, and the thing we just did was, it was really great. I mean, I'm biased, obviously. What do you think? You were doing monitors, I guess. You were doing, what was your function today?
Yeah, just running monitors, a couple sets of ears. It was a blast, you know. It's been a minute actually running a show, so it was fun to hop on there, do a little bit of rehearsal the day before, and get the ball rolling. So.
Well, we, in our never-ending quest to get the best people to give to our audience, to share with our audience, we have done it again. It's luck, and it's
a legend.
Really a legend. Our guest today is an incredibly special person to me. I've known this person since, I want to say, 15 years old. I was a little punk rocker in Monterey, and he's a couple of years ahead of me, and he had a great punk rock band called CIA, and we came up together. I love this guy. He is a brother from another mother. He is a true, dear friend. We are honored to have him here. It's a singer for Lovers and Strangers. His name's Ray Bertolino. Ray Bertolino, how are you, my dear?
I am so well. Thank you so much for having me.
My God, what it took for you to get here is such a rock and roll story.
Poor guy.
It is so rock and roll. So tell us about the trip up. How was that from Vegas? Good times?
Great time.
Yeah.
For the first time in my life,
Yeah.
because we make the trip a bunch, my van that I just had serviced in the middle, or somewhere between Vegas and Barstow, started dumping gas on the side of it. It stalled and was dumping gas.
Oh, Jesus.
And the band and we pushed it to the corner, and we sat, off the shoulder, and we sat and we waited for about 6.5 hours in 116 degree temperature, no AC. Thank God we had a little water and some ice.
Doesn't get more rock and roll than that, brother.
It was kind of the perfect storm of highway breakdowns, as there was a huge traffic jam, so no one could really get to us. Yeah.
Now you're here.
Right, exactly. Another story. Check it off.
Yeah. We threw a little food in you. You got slung on your guitar. You got your boys.
Oh.
And
Absolutely.
your team, you know, I just watched you do a 90-minute set. Something to look out for. We're editing it together, and we're gonna make it a finished thing. So it's not quite ready yet. But you're here for a couple reasons. First of all, I don't want to go away from the subject of your boys. Your team, your Lovers and Strangers, your band. I love your band.
Thank you.
Between, I mean,
means so much.
there is such a continuity. There's the feeling when I watch you guys playing. You know, I've done a lot of shows with you guys.
Absolutely.
Man, there's just you can feel the love. The rock and roll oozes out. You know, Mikey on bass just murdering it. Carlos over here blasting leads out like there's no tomorrow. You got. I mean, Dino, who just sits in that cool pocket doing that thing with his eyes closed, and Shane carrying the whole backbeat. Just, I mean, it's really magic to watch. And you get up there and you sing your little heart out and you play, and it's just a treat. It's really a treat. I feel honored to be associated with you guys.
Thank you so much.
This is a 30-something year relationship.
Absolutely.
And I've seen you go through a few really great incarnations. Ran to Forget-Me-Nots, Against CIA. Now, of course, Lovers and Strangers. Really two runs at that. I know that Lovers and Strangers had this moment for a minute there for a decade. Regional kick-ass. You were killing it. And then your partner at the time, a man we all love and adore, sadly passed.
Yeah.
Steve Sipple. You want to give a shout out to him and what he means to you in the band?
Absolutely. Steve was my best friend. He was my writing partner. He was the guy that when people said, you know what, I don't think so, you know, we said, well, we think so. And to have that kind of support.
Yeah.
You know, with art and you know, original compositions, it means so much, and I miss him so much, and you know,
You're honoring him with what you guys are doing now.
Absolutely.
You know, this is your project. I feel like is a shout out to everything that you two, you know, created.
Sure.
And it's a way of keeping it alive. And I feel like Steve looking down on you is a lot of pride and a lot of, you know.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the
cool.
case. I want to start back. I want to back up a little bit though. Here at the show, we like origin stories. We want to know about, you know, of course you're the musician. Always, music is your life. You love your music. You love your wife. You know, these are the two big guys in the.
Absolutely.
You know, tell me about what got you into the musical thing. How did Ray get to this seat sitting here with us today? What was the connective tissue?
Well, I'm gonna mention names if I can.
Name drop, baby.
Because they're only names that like we know together growing up because we've been through it. You know, I started playing guitar with a guy named Paul Yonan, and he was connected to Thomas Kamaki, which I know you know very well.
Yes, and Mr. Rathburn.
And exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and he showed me some chords, and we used to play parties, you know, and play some cover stuff, and you know, around Pebble Beach in the area. And you know, after I learned, you know, 3 or 4 chords, I went, you know what? I can do this stuff. I never really was ever interested past that point of a few Zeppelin covers. I never was interested in playing anybody's music really early. I wanted to write my own music. I thought I could, you know, give or take a few misses. I began writing music, and you know, then punk rock came, and you know, I met, you know, Bernie, and had a partner in Mark Ballesteri, and we started doing some punk stuff. And as soon as I felt that energy, as soon as I felt that it was just, and a lot of people say that, it was just that.
It's like an addiction.
It was just, it was something that was more than the parts in between. It was an energy. It was a feeling. It hit me in my heart, and I just wanted it.
Yeah.
And I've wanted it ever since. And that's really the story.
I can't think of a time in knowing you when you weren't pursuing a musical goal, involved in some music project.
Absolutely.
You know, making it happen. And I've always been envious of that. Your work ethic, your ability your stick-to-itiveness, some people, you know, I've been watching this for 35 years, and you can tell people that are born to do this. You were born to do this. This is in you. This is who you are. You're a hell of an entertainer. You put on great shows. And I'm glad that we did this event today. I want as many people to see what you do and what your band can do as possible. It's magic, and you know,
Well, again, that means the world to me.
it's a
Thank you
blessing
so
to
much.
have you, buddy. So we know you're here playing some of the songs off of your new album. You guys have been working hard at that. We have a friend of the show. His name's Brad Maddox. People may know him from Rush, Sarah Bareilles, Katy Perry. Goddamn, the list is so long. Van Halen.
My hero.
He's kind of the Smashing Pumpkins. He's kind of a badass, just a little bit. And he mixed down your album. He's the guy.
Used it.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I believe this
George
is
as
the
well.
second one as well, right? This is not the first outing with Bradley.
Actually, he did 3. He
Is
did
it
the Forget
3?
Me Nots record as well.
No kidding. I mean, what a blessing to
He
have.
did so many, we forgot one.
That's
That's
right.
a lot.
Right. Well, hell, keeping track of him is not an easy thing to do. What a
He's the
blessing.
real deal.
Yeah. And he really believes in what you guys are doing, and he shows that with his love and his time. What's it like working with Brad Maddox as your engineer?
It is, I mean, literally the coolest thing I've been involved with. And I've been at this since I was 17 years old.
That's right.
It is hands down the coolest relationship
Yeah.
I've ever had in music. Hands down.
Yeah.
It's so respectful. It's so pure. It's not a relationship driven by financial. You know, it's driven by the heart, and he is such an amazing human being. It's just an honor to work with him. I'm in awe with him constantly.
I get the feeling, because I know how he thinks and he operates, and he's a special guy, and you know his time is not it's valuable, and I think for him with this thing, it's a true passion project. I mean, he believes in it. He likes the sound. He likes what you do, and then you guys come together. I know he does some producing of the songs. You guys get together. Tell me about that.
We do. He's completely involved in pre-production.
Yeah.
We will either send him demos and kind of virtually work through him. I have a studio in Vegas as well.
Yes.
And we'll send him demos and he will critique, and then we will send him some more demos and he will kind of critique, and then we'll kind of end up here,
Yeah.
you know, and we'll kind of put those corrections into play. And he's right there. It's so hands-on, but it's so easy to work with him. There's no stress. I mean, we all know, we've all worked in a studio where the clock is ticking, and
Yeah.
there's just none of that. It's so beautiful, and he's gifted.
He is gifted, and
Absolutely.
I know you got some specific ideas as it relates to in-ears versus monitors. What you thinking on that? Perhaps talk to me about that.
With him sitting right there, hold on, I maybe
All right,
not.
so today he was just,
Great.
doing his
Great,
monitors.
let's hear it.
Hit him with your best shot, baby.
You know,
What do
man,
got?
I've been so used to over the years, being blessed with some of the greatest monitor mixes. I'm just lucky. I mean, your brothers mix so many shows for us, and there's something about a live stage that I don't know. It's just what I know. Now, today, I will tell you this, and I'm not just kind of, saying this because you're there. My mix was awesome. So
The kid's good.
absolutely,
The kid is good.
absolutely,
Yeah.
and I'm going to have to side to maybe moving in that direction, because I heard pitch so much better today than you do. You kind of you lose pitch a little bit, where if you run to the one side of the stage, especially if you're singing.
Well, you use the space too.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you stand in one spot. That's
Yeah.
not how you perform.
So with that said, I might be swayed, but I'm still kind of a wedge guy.
Well, thank you, Bubba. I appreciate
yeah,
it. Nonetheless, that was soft and easy.
You were gentle. You were gentle with him. Is that what happened?
I tried
You
to.
come in soft and gentle, a little
Soft and
velvet
gentle,
touch.
yeah.
Everybody seemed happy. I didn't hear one. I need more me in my monitors mix. Not
No.
one time today.
Oh, good.
So you were flying real
Did a
pretty
great job.
today. Really great job.
Absolutely.
I know you're out supporting a new album. It's not out yet. It's getting its last touches. When can we expect it, and what's the title?
August 17th.
Yes.
So mark that on your calendars.
Everybody, you're gonna want this album.
And it's called The Ballad of Marina's Self-Storage.
I thought it was called Donut. Am I-
That was the last record.
I saw the some of the promos that Dino did, and you gotta love that Dino's there in your corner.
It's
you know,
awesome.
pushing out the social media. He's such a
So
great
great
kid.
guy.
I love that guy.
Me too.
And I did see that. I did see the Ballad of the Marina Self Storage. Where the hell did that come from?
So
Was it Marina Self Storage?
It was literally Marina Self Storage. Well, for years, our HQ was like a 4-car garage in Marina Self Storage, where Steve and I penned the majority of these songs. So I just felt it as, I want to share that kind of information with people that love us, and that was a special spot. And we had it. I think we were there for like 14 years. It was a nightclub. We'd put like 10 kegs of beer in there and charge $5 at the door and get like 500 paid people. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great time in the band's history. And I used to rent bathrooms and cops. I rented, security, and we did the whole nine.
Yeah, you did it right.
And but it was HQ. It was for, I'm going to say, like 15 years.
So it's a kind of an ode to that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 It was cool. And I believe you lived.
Yeah, right up the street. I mean, like literally, like you'd
Literally.
throw a rock.
Yes.
Yeah. So the love is close in this family, and we've been doing it for a long time. I know we were talking, and you mentioned about the state of music, the music business, and the new normal. What's your thoughts on that? How kind of
Well, here's
nail
my
that down.
here's my thoughts on the music business and where it's at. Technology has blown my mind. So I'm coming from an analog, 2-inch world. That's how I know how to make music. Now in my bedroom or my downstairs bedroom, I have unlimited tracks with the greatest pre's and the Neve 1073s and LA2As and every plugin I've ever had the lust to own in hardware.
That's right.
I have it all now. And in that respect, I'm in awe of it. I mean, I'm so wannabe you. I mean, I'm such a wannabe producer.
Well, you know what trips me out is that a roll of tapes is like the same price as a plug-in now. That sounds just as good as a piece of gear that's like $10,000. So how does that work?
Well, I would
It's kind of amazing.
quibble with that a little bit. There's still some of us old heads that believe a plug-in you actually plug in.
Yeah.
But I get you. They've come remarkably close in their similarities, if not almost spot on in some cases, when they really get it right. When you get the new app plugins.
Sure.
Some of them are kind of similar to the original, and some are spot on.
Sure.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
learned how to cut tape. If you told me like just set up a tape machine with +6 at 300 or 300 nanowebers or 350 nanowebers, I could set it up and run a session, but it's not cost efficient anymore.
No, it really is.
Nor is it a good idea at a home studio, really, unless you're in that aesthetic.
Well, a quick aside is, and I tend to agree with you, and there's some limitations. You can't correct as many things with the tape. But the last album that the Foo Fighters put out, their 7th album, they did in their garage with 2-inch tape.
Right, yeah,
And,
like a badass.
and you know what Butch Vig told him in that, told Dave and the boys when it was time to play? He said, yeah, I can't do as many little tricks. I don't have the digital help here, so I need you guys to play well. And it made all the difference. And, you still come
When
out
you
with a
actually
really great
came
product.
rehearsed.
Yeah, that helps too.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what you did when you were recording on a 2-inch machine. It was
That's right.
it was put up or get out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But I think it's a beautiful thing. I think and as well, I have my own record company.
Mm-hmm.
I have worldwide distribution on my records now, on my computer,
Mm-hmm.
where, you are the slave to the record company. For distribution, unless you were a little, it was. I think it's a beautiful time. So I'm embracing it. I hope that like technology does not get in the way with art, because I still haven't. I hear so many great young bands. There's so many great bands. There's so many bands using technology, great, but I still haven't heard the Beatles.
Yeah, good point.
You know, I mean, with all that technology and all that help, and no disrespect to anybody, I still haven't heard the Beatles. And I mean, if they're out there, could you send it my way? Because I'd really love to hear it. But, you know, with all that technology, I still don't think it surpasses songwriting. You still have to write the song.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's where it starts. It's the whole of the thing. Yeah, that's come up many times. Let's see. You mentioned that my brother works with you quite a bit. We as a team, the Edwards brothers, with your team, Lovers and Strangers. It's a love. He goes by Gamma Productions. Talk to me about your relationship with Gamma.
Gamma is why I don't want to cut to the chase. Gamma's why I'm sitting here right now.
How so?
I had left, you know, I was trying to be a producer. I had left the live music. I had stopped playing in a band. I never stopped writing, but I certainly moved my focus to my recording studio and producing bands. And I produced a couple great, really, I think, some really great bands. One is the Darktown Rounders. They're kind of Monterey/Austin. They were one of the most amazing bands, and I had the privilege to make a record called 110% Sex with them. And it's a great record.
Great name.
Check it out. But I was done. And the Medflies, which, you know, I don't know, you know, you have to be kind of in our regional area to know those guys, but they were having a reunion, and George was doing the production on it, brought in the whole, you know, sound and lights for the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And they wanted Lovers and Strangers to open the show, and I absolutely said no. I said, I'm done. I don't do that anymore. I am a producer, you know, interested in making a record though.
Yeah.
But it's a moment that I'm actually getting goosebumps. Like I walked up to I hadn't talked to George he's my dear friend, but we haven't talked for 20 years at least. And I walked up, you know, front of the house. He speaks in front of the house, and he's like, "We have to talk." And I looked into his eyes. I went, "Okay, man, yeah, let's talk." And that moment on, I had realized, after we sat and talked, I realized how much he has grown as an individual, as a father, as a man, as a best friend, because he is my best friend. And he's like, "You're gonna come with me." And I said, "Well, okay, sure." So the first thing he did, he calls me, he's like, "Hey, you're on the headliner stage for Bottle Rock."
It's not a small thing.
And I said, well, George, I don't have a band. And he said, "Well, get one." And so I Craigslist, I'm like, okay, and I put together a band, and we were horrible. It just wasn't the right group of people. And I said, "I can't find anybody." And he's like, "Find somebody." And my next kind of little advertisement, I found Mike Diavola, Ace. I found the drummer for the Forget Me Nots, Mike Fouts. And we kind of got this guy through Mike Fouts. We got an amazing keyboard talent named Mick Schaefer, and he knew Carlos Guerrero. Mm. And he actually, through a friend of Carlos's, because Carlos, the guy that we wanted originally, or we're going to contact, was double booked. He would double book him for the Bottle Rock show. So he said, "I know this kid Carlos." And so Carlos, my wife, and I met at a French restaurant. He was getting quiche for his wife at the time, which I thought was impressive. And we played together once, and went, "This is it." And our first gig was, I think we were the first band on that main stage for the first Bottle Rock in 2013. And it's just been an honor to be a part of the Gamma, family. And it's the first time in my life that I truly believed that my management had the best for me. Like, it wasn't about money anymore. It was about brotherhood and love. And I can't tell you what that means to me.
Well, I can tell you straight out that he considers you one of the best things in the world to him. He lives and breathes Lovers and Strangers and Sound Image. This really is his focus, and you brought a lot to him too with that. So I think everybody's needs are getting met, and the love is so strong there. Talk to me about. I know that you, with your spare time, which it boggles my mind because I know how much you put into Lovers and Strangers, but I know you actually have another band that you work with that you enjoy. Talk to us about that.
I do. I have a band called Ray and the Forget-Me-Nots, and it's a departure. It's not as kind of straightforward. There's more major sevens, and there's a ton more kind of production harmony stack on the stuff.
Sure.
We made a couple records. We made a record called Butterfly Town, kind of an ode to PG, and it's personally, I'm so proud of that record. It's funny because a lot of people close to me, said, "Be careful. You're a rock guy. You start to get a little too pretty, and people aren't going to get you." I went, "No, they'll get me, and trust me, they'll get me." And a lot of people had, down the line, a lot of people had a little problem with the direction. It's a little softer, it's a little more mellow. There's some moments, but for the most part, it was me trying to kind of grow. And I was growing as a musician, and I was growing as a songwriter, and I was with some incredible musicians. And it's really very, very close to my heart. And it's still going. We're working on our third record.
It's a great band. A great band. It
Thank
is
you.
a slight departure from
Certainly.
Yeah, what you've been known for.
Sure.
But at the same time, we all have multiple sides, facets, and that's one of your softer sides, and it's really well done. It's a very polished, professional thing, and if you guys get a chance to check out Rand, Forget Me Nots, I promise you will enjoy this a great deal.
And Brad was supposed to mix that, and he was going out, and it just couldn't happen. We were kind of at a deadline, but he was supposed to mix that record too, and I'm sorry that he didn't.
Well, I'm sure he is too, but he is highly sought after guy, and sometimes like I said, right now he technically shouldn't even have been here today. He should have been out on the road with Motley Crue,
Absolutely.
doing the Motley Crue Def Leppard thing.
Sure.
And if it wasn't for this unique set of circumstances, now I know he would have found the time, permitted, but we would have had to work it into his schedule.
Absolutely.
Because
which I'm happy to work with. There just happened to be a deadline on this record.
Sure. We have somebody going way back in the time machine for you, myself, and my brother. We share in common that was instrumental in our early days of getting into the sound thing, putting on shows, and that was Tony Nacita of IAMP, also known as the Independent Audio of the Monterey Peninsula, IAMP. It's where my brother and I got our start. It's where, as a little kid, I would stay too long at the shows and push these speakers that were taller than me. I had to have a spotter, those Harbingers. Remember the Harbingers?
Right. Carver.
The horns, they were like, it was ridiculous. You got feelings for Mr. Nacita? How do you remember him? Fondly?
Oh my God. I love Tony.
Yeah.
And, it's funny because I know you guys so much and so well. I know that's how you got to start. That's how just to clarify, if IAMP was doing the sound, you knew you wouldn't have a worry sound-wise every time. The most consistent, small clubs, huge venues, didn't matter. You knew the stage was going to sound great. And as you well know, it's key to an artist. But I will tell you this, Tony was a true professional. He was an amazing human being that would kind of put the screw down a little bit when you kind of messed up a little bit, would always in like that caring way. and was always, I've never seen him lose his mind. I never saw him be a monster, which I've seen plenty of people be monsters in this business.
Oh, absolutely. I was always afraid to see him go there because he had that calm, kind of quiet thing he did. And you remember, he was always very healthy, as in he was buff.
Yes.
And he was the old guy in the room. And there was the idea of disappointing him was so anathema. I just couldn't imagine doing it, and it just kept me on this P's and Q's level. I'm a little punk rocker, remember? And so my fucking up was kind of what I did. But with Tony Nacita, man, you just knew, show up with the A game, put the fucking alcohol down, and bring it, and the love would be at the end of the deal, you know. And he was so. He really embraced us.
He
embraced our scene. And again, we're these young punk rockers. This very new thing. This is 81, 82, whatever, right in there. And
rock was fun.
And a lot of folks were, we were kind of the bad kids on the block, right? It was very new. And Tony was like, "Yeah, I got this." And we would do shows with him, and he'd throw up shows for you, and we'd back there, coiling cable, and George would be running the boards, and I just remember him so fondly. And luckily, recently we had a thing where he needed a couple shotgun mics, and it was such a thrill for me. He sent up a note on IAMP stationery. I got it on my office wall. I just loved it, and it was so nice for us to be able to do something for him.
Absolutely.
And so we sent him down some shotgun mics for something he was doing. And I just thought it was a place that we could touch on and share together, because what a amazing man.
As a outsider looking in, and I'm lucky enough to be a part of the Sound Image family. I see what you guys are doing, and how you're bringing up young talent, and how you're bringing up, young stage guys and sound guys and lighting guys. And I see that legacy in this room, and that's I just think that you guys are doing the right thing.
Thank you. I'll tell you, there's a little self-serving to it. There's two things. Me and George talk about this all the time. My general manager, my brother and boss. First of all, we believe we were taught by somebody that we had mentors. Now, back in the days, our mentors were a little more scream and holler and chuck a wedge at your head if you were getting it wrong. So we handled it a little differently. But we understand that we're tired. We're old. We can't keep doing this, but we love doing this. And we know that it's finally a time where the technology is caught up, and there's there's these young smart cats like Kyle Thomas here, or like Mike Brown, who's doing our audio right now.
Absolutely.
30-year-old guys, 25-year-old guys, that they're coming up with the schooling. They're coming up in a different way. We came up on the job. We learned how to do this on the job, on the fly.
Absolutely.
They came a slightly different route, and we feel responsible for the idea that we're going to hand this off, and we want to hand off this industry to qualified badasses. We give them the ropes about how to run around in the music business, which we both know is treacherous. And there can be some pitfalls, and you kind of got to be a tough guy to get in it. But at the same time, we need the brains that come with the new kids.
Sure.
Me and you weren't raised with a laptop in our crib. These kids were, and a lot of what's happening in sound right now, and lighting as well. Some of these consoles are pretty tricky. And so we feel a duty, an obligation to suss them out, find the right ones, build them up, bring them up, and start to turn it over to them, so we can kind of stay home a little more. I finally got a love life where I'm not gone every weekend, and so I get to hang out with my girl, and he gets to go out on the weekends now.
There you go.
I get to form the white hairs all over my head.
Exactly.
I hope my beard never looks like that.
But I think you mistakenly said something that I think you overlook, which is energy.
Yeah.
There's an energy in this room that you're not going to find in a lot of rooms.
Yeah.
And that's special, and that's one, that's just another cool thing about being in this room.
Yeah, we're very lucky. We're surrounded by, we've always, I think it's been just by putting the work in, we've been able to surround ourselves with some incredible people, you know, kind of heart and skill level, ability to take in new information, to share. I routinely learn from these guys, and I hope that I'm doing my job, which is to impart the many years of doing this. So it's a great honor for us to be able to do that, and we've really lucked out on some incredibly quality guys, and that's what helps keep Sound Image in the top, top couple sound companies in the world. I was listening to you today. You put on a hell of a set.
Thank you, sir.
Action-packed, heartfelt, really sonic. You had your foot on the gas. I was feeling it. It was a great show today, and we'll be sharing that soon with the public. We'll let you know more. Keep an ear out. We'll let you know on the show when these things are happening through other media. But I was listening to Government. And I had this little moment where I felt like I was in a time machine. And I went back to the 80s with you, and I was with the 80s when you kicked over the mic stand, and I was like, he's channeling his punk rocker. And it just felt good, man. It just felt good. I was like I was sitting stage right with you at CIA, and Mark's back there flailing away doing his thing, and it just felt good. Is there a part of you that still needs to channel that energy, that feels that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can feel it in the music.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about that.
And, well, you know, it's funny because music genres have really melded a little bit.
A little bit.
And the term alternative music has become a very broad thing. So alternative music for us was, punk rock, core, it was a specific thing. And there was something about, like, I just remember when I first heard Johnny Ramone strike a chord.
Oh, man.
It was just like the whole world changed for me,
Yeah.
And I still, and there's a ton of bands that do this for me, and there's some young bands that really do this for me too. But it's that power, it's that tube amp and that Les Paul, just and that's just my thing.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. That was my first song I ever learned on guitar was Blitzkrieg Bop.
Ah,
I
classic
learned
song.
that. It's 3 chords, man. You can't go wrong with that.
And wasn't it the greatest 3 chords? Yeah,
Hell
it's
yeah.
So
like,
fun.
You
So
feel like
fun.
a badass afterwards. You're like,
and it was attitude, and it was power. It was and a message.
Yeah.
That's another thing that there was a point to it, and I look for music with a message, and there's plenty of it out there. You kind of have to sift a little bit,
Sure.
but there's plenty of it out there. But that was really important to me as well. But yeah, I still I've gone to, like, baby, how many Social Distortion shows have we gone to? Oh, my bad.
Did you just go off set? A big fan of Mike Ness, are you?
We've been to so many punk rock shows. I mean,
In literally multiple hundreds. The count is lost. I have no clue. What was the first show that I ever actually got money on? Bad Religion, Bad Brains, Oakland Coliseum Arena.
I was there.
Lewd,
Yes.
Farts. Fucking amazing show. Oh my God. And I got $20, pizza and a beer. And it was like, yeah, I'm doing this forever. You got me. I'm in.
Oh, but I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like the Bad Brains.
Yeah.
I mean,
nope.
oh
Nope.
my God.
Thank you, baby.
They changed my life for a while. And
That
they were
was
such a great band.
That was
I
a
love that
revelation,
band.
right? Wasn't that a revelation?
Oh my God.
You know, Rick Ocasek from the Cars did that. Remember the first thing that came out of Bad Brains was the yellow tape.
Yeah.
Remember? That Rick Ocasek produced that.
No.
I fucking
Really?
swear to God, dude. It's one of the reasons yet another reasons why Cars are one of my formative bands.
That makes sense.
Yeah, a beautiful film.
And he did a Weezer record. I mean, the guy was.
He's a badass.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, him, Jerry Harrison from the Talking Heads, as producers, the stuff
Absolutely.
they did beyond their existing bands.
Sure.
Fantastic. But, what a seminal album.
Absolutely.
And time. Really, really amazing shit. Let me ask you, again, we've been to a lot of shows. We've done a lot of shows. We've seen a lot of shows, both sides of from the fan perspective, from the work and the perspective, from the artist's perspective.
Sure.
What's your most memorable show?
Whew.
It's a tough one, I know.
Okay.
I said this would be easy.
Do I have to narrow it down to one?
You can give me any answer you want.
All right. Well, one of the greatest shows I've ever seen was at the 10th Street Hall.
Yeah.
It was the Dead Kennedys.
Oh,
it
God.
was Naked Lady Wrestlers.
Oh, so good.
And it was so, it was that, it was really when punk rock was crossing to, for me, because I'm a lover, not a stranger, right? It was getting dangerous. You know, punk rock, you know, before you kind of jumped around and you bumped into people and you know, and it slowly progressed into something a little more aggressive, which I loved. We all loved.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That was,
You know, and then it progressed and it progressed and it progressed. And that was the first, I got into a huge fight. I mean, the show was amazing, but that's when I first started thinking, man, this is getting dangerous. But it was just, I mean, it was, I loved it. I just,
it's kind of addictive.
I floated home, you know.
You know what it was is, so I actually remember the kind of the transition. Early punk rock days, San Francisco. If you remember, early days, the shows, this was even some of the harder shows, there was still a pogo in the game. There was still some bouncing going on.
At Mabuhay,
right?
You
That
know,
moved,
the
the Mad
insults,
Fat, exactly,
yeah.
right? And then Black Flag and the Circle Jerks came up from LA and they brought their crew with them. And that was the Slam Dance crew. And me and George were well aware of this from going to shows at the church and, you know, Ukrainian Culture Hall and shit before we moved here to this area. And we were very aware when we saw that crew show up, there was 40 strong, and they just ripped apart the Elite Club. They put that, and that's when the whole kind of acceptance of, oh yeah, that pogo and shit isn't gonna fly.
It ended quick, didn't it?
Yeah, right there. And do you remember? I remember when I was a young punk, talking about the DKs, who are their engineer works right here in this building. Kyle Anderson's their engineer to this day, and we were punk rockers were stupid in the beginning. We latched on to a bunch of bad behaviors that were somewhat still acceptable in the time. This is 35, 40 years ago.
Sure.
So there were a little homophobic. We were a little anti-Semitic and didn't even know what that was,
right.
but we acted stupidly. There was we were drinking way too much. And I remember the DKs coming to town with Toiling Midgets 45 Grave at the Elite Club. And they came out and they released that song, Nazi Punks Fuck Off, and then Too Drunk to Fuck. And we were like, wait a minute. So the drinking thing, we're kind of doing too much of that, are you saying?
What are you trying to say, Jello?
Yeah. Joe is like going off on like people with super short hair, calling them skinheads and shit. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was like we went to school. Like you had to learn how to be a proper punk rocker.
Certainly.
Because we were coming at it too hard, especially if you came from the southern part of the state.
Sure.
You know, it was like the Descendants when the song "You Kick Over the Urinals." You know, you're ruining it for all of us.
Right.
I mean, there's a certain amount of aggression that comes with this game, and that's where the slam dancing comes from. It's just a release when that sonic power builds up in a show. You kind of it just starts it going. You know, it's like when Discharge came out. That was like nuclear war music. It was like the theme song, the playlist to a nuclear war. You couldn't stand there and listen to that. You had to move.
Absolutely.
You know? And if there were things in your way, they might have got knocked down.
They get moved too.
Yeah. And so there was something super inspiring about that. Listen, I want to know how to let my audience know how to get a hold of this album that's coming out on August 17th. I don't put my name on many things, but I highly recommend this album. It's a fun album. It takes you through the gamut of feeling and emotion. Sonic, it's delicious. It's edible. It's yummy. Where can they find this album?
You can find it on just about any forum that you download or stream music on. It'll be on Spotify,
iTunes,
all of the, and then we're gonna press records as well.
Fantastic.
And we're gonna kind of sell those out of the back of our van at shows.
Sure.
But if you go to our website and want a record, I don't know if anybody listens to records anymore.
I do.
You know, we'll certainly send them to you, or you know, come to see a show. We'll certainly have them there as well.
Oh, you mentioned that you have your own record company. Talk to us about that. Name of the company?
The name of the company is Feral Cat Records.
Great name.
And I track out of my studio called Feral Cat Recording Studio, for the lack of a better name. And we are interested in any artist that has something to say and that will write their own music for the most part. We're not genre specific. We have some rap artists that work in our studio and work off our label. You know, I'm mostly involved in punk ska or ska. All my records go through that. It's just an avenue to perpetuate composition, and not just composition for composition that has a message. And I think right now, in the times that we live in, composition and, you know, with a point, people need to point out what's going on. Artists need to write songs that depict the injustices that are going on in this world right now, and write about it and make it not only art, but, you know, say something. And I hear music that does that, and I hear a lot of music that doesn't do that, and that's really what we're interested in.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all I've ever been interested in for the most part.
No, you're into music for the right reasons, and it's a great outlet. And I hope that people avail themselves to your service, because they'd be better off for it.
Thank you.
You know, you've been doing this for a minute. You know, we're in a wacky, tricky time, politics-wise, stuff we don't talk about, this bug in the air, the whole nine. Music, as we mentioned earlier, let me ask you this. What do you think the future holds as it relates to us being able to get out and play some music live? How do you see that happening?
I see this because I'm kind of on the front lines in Las Vegas.
Yes, that's right.
And I see that people want music. They want to bust out. They want to be entertained. You know, Las Vegas was closed for the 3 months when the world closed. And then we came back. And we came back slow. You know, like, I thought no one would be coming back to Vegas. People flooded back to Vegas. They wanted Vegas. They wanted entertainment. They were sick of being stuck in LA, you know, at home. As soon as, you know, the floodgates opened, I thought it would trickle. It flooded. I believe once people realize that the only way we're going to cure this thing is us building up antibodies against this, opposed to, you know, being safe, washing your hands, you know, wearing a mask, all of the, you know, criteria. And I don't want to, you know, get a ton into this, but I do think music will come back. I don't know when people will think they'll be safe enough to do it in a large group. I do think, though, that there's that public that once the gate starts to open and you guys start to do a couple, you know, and they look at it and the state that was in doesn't, you know, spike again, I think you're going to be really surprised how fast the concert business is going to come back. I really do. That's my, you know.
From your lips to God's ears, our feeling on it is we're thinking it's going to start outdoors. It's going to start with some of the common sense measures like
Distance.
masks.
Yeah.
The distance one, we're trying to imagine being able to. We've done huge shows, you know, and we know that controlling space can be tricky. We can create a border to kind of keep pinning you in, but what you do in that border gets a little harder to deal with. So I think we'll start there probably. But I know there's a lot of artists that we deal with and we're hoping they come into this space here between now and then and do some streaming, and we get some shows out with you know, a professional light rig, professional atmosphere, professional people, professional gear, and we can keep people kind of entertained as much as that can do between now and then. But I also know a lot of artists are writing away, you know, that they're spending time.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, right.
You know,
so I bet you there's going to be a flood of
great material.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot to choose from. I could sit here and talk to you all night. I could. I could too. The well of it just goes on and on.
It does.
And I really appreciate you coming to town and bringing your crew. and your people. I adore all of you, and it's a great treat and honor to have you on the show. I
Thank you so
really appreciate it.
that.
Thank you, Mr. Bertolino.
Yeah, it was a blast today, especially earlier, man.
We will
Whole
keep
thing's
an ear out
great.
for your upcoming release. That's help me with the title again. Come on.
The Ballad of Marina Self-Storage.
I thought it would sound better coming from your lips. Ray Bertolino of Lovers and Strangers, thank you, my friend.
Thank you so
It
much.
was a treat. We have some business to do here on the show before we close up. It's been this weird, bittersweet thing going on. Like you mentioned, we've had our friends here over the last few days making music, doing what we do. And a weird thing came to us to really help us appreciate each other more than we normally do. I've got Alan Pettibone that's lighting me up right now, making me prettier than Lord knows I am. And thank you for that, Alan. I've got Mike Brown dealing with the switching and the audio and the graphics and all the good stuff that we do. Thank you, Mike Brown. And Kyle Thomas helping me out in this thing. And today we were lucky enough, some of the shots that are being taken by the one and only Joe Victoria of Metallica fame, Rolling Stones. I mean, he's one of the best videographers on the planet. That is not hyperbole. That is a fact. And I mean, so this is, again, a special edition. One of the reasons it's special, though, and I need to speak to it is, the cameras that we're being seen through are from a company called Large Screen Video. Large Screen Video is run by Cameron Brown and John Rigney. These are amazing people that run an amazing company. And they helped us out because they shared the vision with us of what we were trying to do here. And as we were preparing to do the show with Lovers and Strangers, we got terrible, tragic news. And I'm keeping it together on a shoestring here, just barely. We lost our good friend who you've heard me mention, who was a guest on this show not 4 or 5 episodes ago. He passed away a couple days ago. The great, the amazing, the mentor, the brother of brothers, John Rigney from Large Screen Video passed away. And I just don't know how to speak to it other than to say, appreciate the people around you the best you can. You have no idea when they will just turn up missing forever, and it hurts. And I want to shout my love out to the rooftops for John Rigney and all he's done for us as a friend, as a mentor, as a person in the business, as a go-to guy that we've counted on in countless situations to bring the biggest lead walls, to put out the best video stuff. I mean, the LSV is a company that is now going to be handled by Cameron Brown. Cameron Brown, my heart goes out to you, my brother. If there's anything that we can do for you here at Sound Image, at Beyond the Backstage Pass, we are here for you.
Yeah, blessings, brother.
Yes, the love is deep, the river runs, and we feel for you more than we could possibly say in words. We are here, and we are here for you. Thank you for allowing us the technology. You sent out to do the Lovers and Strangers thing, one of your top badasses in Jeff today, and probably about $1 million worth of cameras to do this shoot and gear. And we just cannot tell you how deep and how much we appreciate you folks. So thank you to you. And to the family at LSB, you have our deepest condolences. I can only imagine what you're going through. We'd also like to thank the good people here at Sound Image. We get to do this because my brother George Edwards allows us the space. He's our general manager of Sound Image Productions. And of course, the wonderful and one-of-a-kind singular human being that is Dave Shadone, the CEO of Southern California Sound Image. Without him, there would be I can't even imagine. He's a leader in this industry and really in our world a god. And so thank you, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Yeah, Dave's the one. And then of course we get the help from the good people at slowfiber.com. They help us with our masks and they help us so at our different shops our folks have proper protective gear so they continue working and
Do we
keeping
not have
this
one
ship
out
running.
here for you?
I actually gave it to Carlos, the guitarist for
Oh, good.
Lovers and Strangers. fibers.
It went to a good
And
home.
of course, if you need any of those types of service, reach out to slowerfiber.com. They're amazing. And
Oh, quick thing.
what else
You
you
got
got? Oh,
you got
my
a guitar,
goodness.
man.
Oh my goodness. The Lovers and Strangers not only showed
I had a
up
guitar sitting next to me the whole time. I didn't pick
with
it up once.
cigars, which is the fastest way to my heart.
Look at how
But
badass this
then
thing is,
they
dude.
brought us this guitar, this wonderful guitar signed by the whole band with one of my favorite bands' merch on it, which is Queens of the Stone Age.
Wait,
They
did
know
you
I'm
see
very
the name
close
of the
with
guitar?
them. What's the name of that guitar?
Vinci.
It's Da Vinci.
Vinci.
That is a lot of
Vinci.
love right there, and I feel it deep inside, and I appreciate it more than you can know. I want to send out love to the whole band. I wish I could have all you guys on here. Thank you so much,
You guys are awesome.
Lovers and Strangers forever. We recommend them highly, and we'll let you know when the live work we just captured on video is coming out. It's really quite a thing. Until then, thank you for tuning in. We love you guys. We do it for you, and we'll see you next Thursday at 7. Have a good night. Thank you very much.